What if we came at the question of how to manifest from a completely different angle? An angle where you could see immediately how simple getting whatever you want from life is, without struggle, without techniques, without constantly monitoring your thoughts or wondering why life just isn't delivering. I'm going to show you such an angle in the next few minutes. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Trevor, and when I was in my 20s and 30s, I felt I was struggling for everything in life, especially love and money and, well, that elusive state known as happiness. Thankfully, I have those things and more in my life these days because I found some forehead-slappingly simple answers, and now it all just flows. These days, I write books and create programs to help people turn on the same light bulbs that came on for me. There's nothing woo-woo or religious about any of it. Anyone can do what I've done, no matter what you believe or don't believe. If you'd like to know more about my down-to-earth approach to manifesting the life of your dreams, please check out my Law of Attraction Demystified Club. There's a link at the top of the description below this video. You may like to know too that I'm in the process of writing a book about these ideas called Effortless Manifesting, which should be out in the next few weeks as I record this video. Club members will get a free copy, but if you'd like to pre-order it or buy it if it's already published by the time you watch this, here's a QR code for you to scan that will take you to a page where you can purchase it. All right. Let's look at how we can simplify manifesting. There are times in life when you just know you want something to change. You want more. You want different. Sometimes you can half pin it down, like more spice in your love life perhaps, but you have no idea what that would look like or who it would be with. Or you want more freedom, but you're not sure what you'd actually do with it if it came along. It's just a gnawing, nagging feeling. All the usual yada yada about visualizing won't work because you haven't got a clear picture anyway. Besides, all that effort with its intense focus, remembering to recite affirmations and attempting to visualize the life of your dreams when you don't really know what that would look like, is exhausting. In the end, you're forced to resort to hope. But even that can turn into desperation, as though you're hanging by a thread, clinging to the faint notion that somehow things will turn in your favour. All the while, there's that nagging anxiety at the back of your mind. What if it doesn't happen? What if this is it? So here's my question. What if we approached the whole process of desire and change a bit differently? What if we didn't treat manifestation like some long, drawn-out mental battle, but more like satisfying a simple hunger? Let me explain what I mean. Think about what happens when you feel hungry. You don't sit there visualizing every detail of your future meal, stressing over when or if the food is going to appear. You simply recognize, hey, I'm hungry, and then you take action. You either cook something up or wait for a meal to arrive. Sure, there might be some time between the hunger and the eating, but you know food is on its way, whether it's a few minutes of chopping vegetables or waiting for a delivery. In that waiting time, you don't doubt that food is coming, do you? You don't obsess over every minute that passes, questioning whether the meal will actually satisfy you. You just get on with it. Maybe you pour yourself a drink, set the table, or even distract yourself with something else. You trust that the meal is on its way, and when it arrives, you enjoy it. What if we treated our desires in the same way? When you feel the urge for something new in your life, a new job, a relationship, a change of direction, recognize it as a natural feeling like hunger. Your mind is telling you it's time for something different, something fulfilling. But instead of straining your mental muscles, willing it into existence, what if you allowed yourself to relax into that desire? Just like when you wait for food, trust that what you're craving is already on its way. By the way, if you'd like to explore ideas like this and also ask questions in a private forum, do check out the Law of Attraction Demystified Club by clicking the link in the description below. And remember, members will get a free copy of my new book when it's released. Look, waiting in and of itself isn't the problem. Waiting only feels hard when you start to doubt whether what you want is coming. It's the doubting that makes the waiting painful. It's the fear that maybe, just maybe, things won't change, or worse, that they'll go in the opposite direction. But here's the thing. What if that fear and doubt aren't necessary at all? When you recognize your desires, that's your inner wisdom giving you a heads up that change is coming, that it's time to prepare for something new. It's not a sign of lack. It's a signal that your life is ready for the next step, just like hunger is your body's signal that it's time to eat. So why don't we make the waiting easier? What if, instead of feeling desperate, we allowed ourselves to relax into the process the same way we do when we're waiting for food? When you go to a restaurant for dinner, you don't panic between hunger and your meal arriving. Why should you panic between wanting a change and that change arriving? You order what you want, that's important. But then the waiter goes away and you simply trust that the chef and the kitchen team are working behind the scenes preparing your meal. In the meantime, you can relax, maybe sip some wine and chat with your companions. But when it comes to manifesting our dreams, we've been conditioned to believe that we need to hustle for everything we want, that if we don't make things happen, nothing will change. But the truth is that the greatest shifts in life come when we stop forcing and start allowing. The waiting itself becomes part of the experience, like marinating a good steak. There's richness in that pause, a sense of anticipation without anxiety. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. Just like when you're hungry, you take action. If you're eating at home, you prepare the food, or at least decide what you're going to eat. Similarly, when you feel that desire for change, you'll naturally start to move in a direction that aligns with it. You might explore new opportunities, meet new people, or gain new insights. But the difference is, you're not doing these things from a place of desperation. You're doing them because you trust that your desire is leading you in the right direction. What I'm suggesting is a different way of approaching desire and change. Instead of willing and forcing, why not move with ease and trust? Why not enjoy the waiting time, knowing that what you want is on its way, just like that delicious meal? Not having something you desire doesn't have to be synonymous with being unhappy. It's a rhythm, a cycle of life. You might prefer the spring to winter, but you really can't have one without the other. Look at it like this. You would never enjoy food or eating if you were full all the time. A glorious sunset would mean nothing if the sky was always streaked with shades of pink and purple. To take this idea to its extreme, even falling in love would be boring and mundane if you felt that way about everyone all the time. We need contrast. You need an appetite as well as the feeling of hunger in order to be able to enjoy a good meal. Not having everything you want in life isn't a bad thing. It's the contrast that will allow you to know when all the things you want have shown up. And guess what? Even when they do, there'll be new experiences, new things, and more changes to want. Desire is an appetite too. There'll be times when you're full, and times when you're between meals, and times when you're hungry. Doesn't mean you're going to starve. Here's the magic. When you approach life with this mindset, something incredible happens. Without the burden of desperation or anxiety, you start to notice things you didn't before. You're not so focused on what's missing that you fail to see the opportunities right in front of you. Your mind is clearer, more open. You start to enjoy the process itself, the preparation, the learning, the unfolding. And then, when the change finally arrives, it feels natural. It feels like the next logical step, not some miraculous stroke of luck. But let's go even deeper. What if waiting in itself is where the real growth happens? Think about it. When we're forced to wait for something, whether it's a meal, a job, or a new chapter in life, we're given an opportunity to learn patience, to build trust, and to develop resilience. The waiting is part of the process. It's not a punishment. It's the universe's way of giving you space to align with what's coming. In that space, you have time to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the next phase. If everything you wanted showed up instantly, how could you savor it? How would you be ready for it? So, next time you feel that hunger for change, for something new, don't rush into frantic action or get lost in desperate visualization techniques. Instead, acknowledge the desire, trust that it's on its way, and use the waiting time wisely. Just like preparing a meal, take the steps you need to take, but do it with a sense of calm and assurance. Know that what you want is coming, not because you forced it, but because it's the natural outcome of recognizing your desire and allowing the process to unfold. And finally, as we wrap this up, remember, waiting is only uncomfortable when you doubt the outcome. Trust in the process, and waiting becomes just another part of the journey, something to enjoy, like the anticipation of a delicious meal. In the same way that hunger leads naturally to food, your desires lead naturally to their fulfillment. All you need to do is trust, prepare, and let the process take its course. You don't have to force life to give you what you want. Just recognize the signs, take the steps you need, and know that what you desire is already on its way. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.